Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope you all are doing fantastic. I know I am, and today we're going to be reviewing these two Marvel Legends Secret Wars 40th Anniversary figures. We have Titania and Wolverine. Now, if you had seen recently on my channel, I posted a video with Beyonder, Captain America, and Iron Man from this wave. I did not pick up Black Suit Spider-Man, but if you want to go check out that previous review to know my thoughts on all those figures, before you watch this one, I should have a card around this time right now. But without further ado, let's get into the review, and we're going to start with Wolverine. All right, taking a closer look at Wolverine here. This costume design is based more on the original Secret Wars toy. I might pull up a picture here so you can see that, and how the color scheme is very bright and very specific in the torso area to that look. So while this isn't the brown suit I was really hoping for, it does have at least a reason to get it. If you like collecting Wolverines, this is the representation of that particular toy. So, I mean, that's why I got it. It's just another Wolverine to add to the collection, the growing Wolverine collection that I have. But this is not my new definitive brown suit Wolverine. They still need to do an update for that, in my opinion. But this is still a good figure. You can see the mask here. It kind of points up more than back than usual, as you can see. He's got a nice smirk there. The face deco looks pretty good. He's got a lot of stubble around his mouth, which I think looks pretty good. Go down. This is pretty much the X-Men 97 Wolverine with some normal base Wolverine parts. You can see he's got the arm hair. It's also sculpted on there, so it's just kind of painted over that sculpt. And then, yeah, he's got the red belt. He's got the trunks actually molded onto the hips there. He's got the X-Men 97 claws. I don't hate these claws. In fact, they're probably one of the better sets of claws we've been getting recently. I have yet to get a set that was warped in package or warped over time. They keep their shape. They're nice. They represent this kind of version of claws if you prefer these, and not the sharp ones like the movie claws. So I think they do just fine. Come down to the boots here. I do like that they did the hinge in black so it lines up with that actual design. And that design is on the back as well, so it just kind of goes with that strip. So there is just a brief overview of the costume. Getting into the accessories, you can see he has his lenticular shield, and you can see how that works. You just kind of move it and it changes. You can see his unmasked and masked looks, and you can actually swap this out for just a Secret Wars standard card. I have the square one here, which is usually for the villains, and then as you can see, the circle one here is for the heroes. So that is an option. These don't have anything on the back. It's just instructions. And I think this one is blank on the back. So it's one of those two options. I think I'm going to keep the lenticular one on when I eventually display him to be this toy Wolverine like so. But then in terms of the rest of it, the accessories, as you can see, along with the clawed hands, we also get a set of fisted hands. And then lastly, we get an unmasked head, and I don't really like this unmasked head. I don't think it's a bad head sculpt. Like, it's really well sculpted and printed. It's just not how I really view Wolverine. It's not one of my favorite heads to represent him from the comics, so I'm not going to really use this one. I have other better unmasked heads in my opinion, but it is an option. So with all that, let's get into the articulation. So he can look up that high. He does have a ball and hinge. You can look down that far. You can look side to side, of course, and a tiny bit of tilt, not a ton. Shoulders can go that far out. They can go down full 360. He does have a butterfly joint. As you can see, he can go pretty far back and out. And then he does have bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then all of the hands hinge up and down. He's got an ab crunch. Go forward and back that far. Then he does have a waist swivel. The belt will get out of the way for that. And then his hips go out that far, and they do kick forward quite a bit, and just a little bit back. He does have a thigh cut. Does have double jointed knees, and yes, he can kick his own butt. And then he does have a boot swivel. Ankles go down, they go up, and he does have ankle pivot. So what are my final thoughts on this Wolverine figure? So, being a big fan of Wolverine in general, I was, of course, in on this. even though it's not the most wanted brown suit that I want for my collection. I think ideally, if you were going to get this as just a representation for Secret Wars and just to keep it carded, I think that would probably be the best bet. But in terms of a brown suit Wolverine, it does not represent a lot of the comic looks very well. I did have a good time posing this guy. It's pretty standard Wolverine fare, so I'm always going to have a good time with one of these Wolverine figures. It's just not the most wanted costume or update that I was hoping for. So while, yes, I did enjoy this figure, I don't think this is necessarily the most necessary Wolverine for a collection. I think this would work best as a figure you just keep on card for a collection if you are a normal collector and not a Wolverine collector like me. So that's just how I feel. Does he have fun factor? Oh yeah. I think every Wolverine on the space body, as long as it doesn't have the older claws and doesn't have any serious articulation limits, it's still fun to pose around. The unmasked head isn't my favorite, but it doesn't like limit me. I was having more fun posing him with the mask on, so I still had fun there. In terms of a rating, I'll give him a 7.5. It's not a necessary figure. It's not a necessary look for Wolverine, but if you are a Wolverine collector like me, or just looking for some Secret Wars representation, I think it's a good release for the price. Now moving on to Titania, as you can see, her costume is very purple, and she is very angry. So actually, let's start down here at the boots. As you can see, they are just purple all the way down, and she's got some spiky bits there coming up to these, I don't know what you'd really call them, flare hoops. I don't know fashion very well. Coming up to torso. She's got a gold belt. I know a lot of people are disappointed that she doesn't have exposed skin here at the T. It doesn't bother me too much, but I know if you really want to, you can take some acetone to the middle there and actually be able to remove it to get the more accurate look, but it will still have a little bit there. But that is up to you. Her arms continue to have those little spiky bits, and she is pinless on both the arms and legs, so that is nice. She's got this kind of orange hair and a nice gritted, angry expression. You can even see those bright green eyes. Then going on to the accessories, she of course comes with a set of fists and a set of kind of wide open grip hands, but they don't really necessarily grip anything specific. Just you can use them when posing to grip things. And then of course she comes with her lenticular shield, which like I said earlier is square compared to round, and it just kind of removes her mask. So there is that. So let's get into the articulation, because that's going to bring in my main complaints about this figure, which mostly have to do with the head. So she can look down that far. She can look up that far. The hair is very restricting. It's a very hard plastic. It doesn't really have much give to it. So let's say if you want to make her look to the left, she's going to be looking down like this instead of directly. And you can kind of get her to look even further, but then it just looks wrong. And then you can kind of do that. And you can angle the chest out a little bit to help, but then you gotta avoid, this is how she has to look just to look right. I mean, it doesn't look the greatest, and it makes it difficult for posing. So yeah, her head articulation is not great. Torso articulation also not the best. I mean, she can go back very far, but not very much forward. Going over the arms, they can go basically until that point on the shoulder. And she can go all the way around, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, looking really good. All of the hands hinge up and down. I realize I did that backwards, but you understand what I mean. And then, we went over the torso. The legs have a different articulation style than what we're used to with most figures. The hips can go out this far, and she can kick forward and kind of turn a bit instead of giving her a thigh cut up here. And she can kick back ever so slightly. But instead of giving her that thigh cut that we normally get, she actually has a cut right here at the boot. So it just kind of works into the costume style so that there is some rotation there. She does get a double jointed knee that can only go that far. Can't quite kick her butt. No rotation at the boot, but the foot can go down and up. And she does get ankle pivot. So what are my final thoughts on Titania? So Titania is a bit of a mixed bag. I'm very happy to have the character representation for my collection. I'm very excited to pair her with Absorbing Man on the shelf. I think they're going to be kind of the heads, or like a big part of my kind of lesser villain shelf, because I do like her and him paired together. And this overall is a good looking figure. It has a real solid presence. She's very tall. She, I think, is even taller than like She-Hulk. But the articulation limits, and I didn't really bring it up, but I would have liked to have seen an alternate head, maybe one that's less angry. I know that she is overall a more angry character. I just would have liked to have had a more neutral expression. I always prefer to have a neutral and an angry expression when getting figures. But in the end, I think what she comes with is fine. Like, it's not great. I just would have loved to have seen some improvements. The neck articulation being limited by the hair is a huge downside for me. It just really limited some of the creative ways I could have posed her. But that's about it in terms of complaints. I think it's still a decent figure. It just, those couple points really bring her down. In terms of fun factor, I'm going to say no. The limitations imposing, I'm not going to keep harping on it, but it does make the experience a little less fun. You do have to get a little bit creative, so I do appreciate that, but at the same time, it can be frustrating. Then for the final rating, I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10. That's what I call about my average. I would still pay full price for this figure and still feel like my money is well worth it, but there are some limitations on the figures that bring it down, and I don't always fully recommend it. Maybe if you can find her on a good sale, that'd be great, but I think you could still find some enjoyment with this figure otherwise. Alright, that was my review of these two Marvel Legends Secret Wars 40th anniversary figures. We have Wolverine and Titania. Let me know what you thought of the review down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the figures. Did you pick them up? What are your thoughts? Let me know all the things. While you're down there, make sure you like the video, make sure you are subscribed, and I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.